Here in part 2 of chapter 10, we're talking about love relationships. Love is a complicated matter, as anyone living knows. But the love relationship is an interpersonal relationship that can either flourish or be destroyed through communication. Unless we realize the impact that our communication has on our relationships, we will have a difficult time maintaining those relationships over time, or even forming them to begin with. According to your text and many researchers, there are 6 different kinds of love that we might experience. So put it out of your mind for the moment that all love has to do with romance. Some of these you will find have nothing to do with a romantic relationship. Though the first would be considered as such. You have eros, which is a love that focuses on beauty and sexuality. It's something that focuses on the physical side of things, and that is entirely where the attraction and the love comes from and is focused. They equate in your text eros to Narcissus, the old Greek god that saw himself in a mirror and fell in love with his own beauty. And so that's what this type of love is based on, is physical attraction, physical beauty. And thus, as those physical attributes changed, oftentimes those experiencing this type of love will lose focus or become dissatisfied with the relationship because of physical change. The second type of love here, ludus, I believe is how you say that. This is a type of love that focuses on entertainment value of the relationship, on excitement. It views love as a game. This type of love is focused on figuring somebody out, but then the downside is once that person figures out the other, they oftentimes will lose interest. And so again, this may be kind of a more short-term type of love. At times also, this type of lover will be controlling. The third type of love is called storge. Storge love is peaceful and slow, as it says. It's a love that takes place over a long period of time. It builds and grows. This can be for romantic relationships, but the primary focus typically is going to be on the relationship formed between family bonds, such as between a parent and a child, or child and parent. So it's a long-lasting love that doesn't really change that much over time. And then we have pragma love. It's the same place we get the word pragmatic. It means practical. Practical and traditional. Here, in that type of love relationship, people are looking for a normal type of relationship, something that's socially acceptable, but also beneficial to both parties. And then we have mania love, where they experience highs and lows throughout the relationship. So great highs of elation, but also they worry a lot. They feel very down if something goes sideways that has to do with the relationship. So it's very turbulent. And then the last type of love is called agape love. It's compassionate and selfless as a type of love. Oftentimes, it's going to be considered a more spiritual type love. There's no concern for personal gain, as there are in most relationships. And agape love isn't solely focused on one person or one group of people. Typically, someone who experiences agape love feels that way toward just about everyone that they encounter. Now, love can change and may morph from one stage to another, or one type of love to another, as a relationship continues to grow and develop. So just because a relationship might start with, say, eros, it doesn't mean it stays there. So you may lose interest in a physical beauty associated with someone, but you develop a more pragma or storge type relationship with that person. Whenever we love someone, we share emotions, we speak tenderly, we use messages that we wouldn't use with other people. We express care and politeness. We create pet names and inside jokes. And then there's a lot of self-disclosure, as already indicated. On the nonverbal side of communication in love, we hold eye contact with our partner for longer than we do with other people. So much so that if we avoid eye contact, it's easy to detect, and oftentimes will be associated that there's something wrong with the situation. We display physical cues that indicate we are together as well, whether that's holding hands, walking arm in arm, embracing publicly, public displays of affection, which all of these indicate this last bullet here, that those in love touch frequently, much more frequently than they do with someone whom they are not in love with. And of course, it should be easy to understand that culture and gender will impact how we feel love as well as how we display it. So from culture to culture, the 6 different phases, or different kinds of love are interpreted differently and expected differently. And there's a good section on that in your textbook. I'll let you sort out there. And then there's a difference between gender expectations within love. And it's somewhat counterintuitive whenever you consider what popular media portrays versus what research tells us. Males tend to expect higher levels of romance within a relationship. And men are more romantic than women. So this is just overall, especially within the marriage relationship, and you can read more on that also within the chapter. This is in the neighborhood of page 280 and 281 of your text.